Hello, crafty friends. Good morning.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm great. You ready to do this?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're joining us today. I know you don't get to see me often on a Thursday. I'm here today with Sue Banker. I think this is officially your second? Your second live. So I'm excited about what you have to share with everyone today. As you guys know, we released calendars on Tuesday, and Sue has a really fun project using calendars, and you're going to be doing some foiling.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that.
Love foiling.
I love how it turned out. It's so pretty. And we are kind of all hands on deck around here as we get ready for Virtual Stamp Joy. It starts tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. Okay, sorry. I got to figure out this. Okay, there we go. We have I know. We have another. Oh no, it's not working. Okay, stop. Please stop. Please stop. Oh, Whitney, make it stop.
We need a Whitney.
Help. Okay, I don't know how to turn the volume down on this television.
There we go.
Okay, so we have an extra device in here to help us with, okay, now we're watching television. Oh.
Okay, now I think we're good.
That could have gone better. So, Whitney,
I'm glad you were here with me because I wouldn't have had a clue.
Whitney's here now. I couldn't get the volume to turn off, and then it started playing a television show, and so I just turned it off.
Okay.
It's off. But let me pop comments on here so we can say hi to a few people, and then I'm going to let Sue get started on the crafting, and I am apparently bad luck, and I'm going to leave. So, Robin says good morning from Wisconsin.
Oh, good morning.
Your home state.
Yes.
And Christine is here, and Kimberly. Hi, Mindy. Hello, Cheryl. We're not going to be watching TV here today, so thanks for all of your giggles and laughs. Sorry about the technology issues. We'll make sure we get that figured out before we go live next time. And it's time to get you started.
Yay!
So,
I'm excited to be here.
Right.
This is going to be fun.
Me too. Well, I haven't mentioned, in case you guys wondered, I did lose a few inches today. I am sitting in a chair next to Sue, so I'm going to stand up now. And
I'm a little on the short side.
Well, and I'm a little on the tall side, so, you know, it's like yin and yang here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get your camera angle switched down for you so that you can share your project with everybody.
Terrific. Thank you. Well, I am so excited to be here today. I have had more fun making calendar items. I'd never made a calendar before, and I am hooked. So I've done kind of 3 things here with foiling, and I am one of those people that loves to use as much when I'm crafting, like scraps and that kind of thing. So this is a technique that I'm going to pull out a couple of pages here from the calendar. And you can see that this is like how you would normally use the foilet. And this is kind of the negative. This is the piece that normally would be tossed, but sometimes they are so beautiful. I just have a hard time doing that. So when I made the calendar, I only used 6 of the foilet panels instead of 12. So you use 6, and when you use the negative, you have your full calendar months. So I will show you, we'll get into that in a moment. So we'll make the calendar pages. And then I also made a tag so you can gift your calendar. So I just used a brown paper sack with a handle and made a little tag there and cut out the hello, die cut the hello. And of course, in keeping with the theme of not throwing anything away, I also used the negative, the piece you cut out, or sometimes that is the positive piece, depending on how you're using it. But I used both pieces of that die. So very fun way to kind of use all your cutouts. And then I just put the year on here, which for the gift box. This is one of our 5x7 clear boxes for cards, and the calendar pages fit right inside. So it's a fun way to gift it, and we will make this today too. So let's get started. I am going to clear this away, and actually we'll leave a couple pages here so you can see January and February. And we're going to start by foiling the design, and I'll show you the pattern I chose was the Arch Nouveau. It's so pretty. Let me just show you the different patterns in here. They're absolutely beautiful. So some have a little bit darker area. The areas that are black will be the areas that foil. So you can see some have more foiling than others. That one's just absolutely beautiful. We've got some lemons and some greenery and some floral motifs. So plenty to choose from when you're making your calendar. And this one comes with 2 each of the 6. So you have plenty to make a calendar using these. But like I said, I only used 6 of the individual motifs for making a calendar in this way. All right, set that aside. And then I used the Toffee Arched Desk Calendar set. So these come all pre-cut for you. And with all the different months, you get one set in each package, and they are about 3 1/4 by 5, little less than 1/4 inches tall. So very fun, and you can see how pretty those are cut out and how nice they work with this arched set. All right, so the beginning, what I'm going to show you here is how to foil. So we've got one of the images that I just cut around with a scissor, and you just want to make sure that when you cut your foil, this is our fun foil, and I used champagne. So I have pre-cut a little piece here, and you always want to make sure that the black area is covered with your foil, because if it's not, this black will transfer onto your carrier sheet, and you don't want that. You want a nice coverage with your foil. So just make sure that the foil is cut large enough to cover the black. And then for this background piece, that is all the champagne foil, I used our toner sheets. So they come in a pack like this. There's 3 sheets in here, and they're 8 1/2 by 11. And they're just a toner printed sheet that the foil will stick to that toner. So peel off that, and so I have cut a piece of the champagne foil large enough to cover that toner sheet. So let me bring in the mink and get that heating here. And I'm going to do this on 3. And this is my carrier. So if you haven't foiled before, there's a clear carrier that you'll want to use. And this is the shim that inserts into it. And both of these pieces will foil at the same time. I believe I have room for both of them. I'll kind of get them situated here, and then I'll make sure that I've got my black toner all covered. So let me scooch these around. Got a little bit of toner showing there, so I'm gonna fix that. Looks like I am good to go. So you can see where all of the toner is covered up by the foil. So the toner part is up, and then the foil is shiny side up on top of that. So I'm gonna try to hold that in place while I flip it over. So that's what the back side looks like. One thing you might want to do too before you foil is take a soft cloth. You can make sure that I just cleaned this carrier, so I know it's dust free, but You just want to make sure there's no dust particles on your foil or on your panel that you are foiling, and that'll ensure you get a nice coverage when you go ahead and send this through the Mink. So as soon as that heats up, we'll do that. I'm going to just bring back in the box just for a minute and show you I have pre-foiled a panel like this to go behind my numbers on the box. So that's what it looks like when it comes out of the Mink. So you always want to put the folded edge in first and get that nice and straight in there. Make sure that that foil stays in place. And then that just, the Mink heats it and it will bond that foil to the toner. So it gives you a pretty, it's just a beautiful look. This is just one of the ways to use the foil as well. It will stick to adhesive, so if you want to foil that way, not necessarily for this project, but for other projects, if you don't have a Mink, there are ways to foil, and it's so fun. It just adds so much pop to your cards. That foiling is just beautiful. So then you let it cool for just a minute. I'm going to take these out so they can cool a little quicker. Okay, so this is our toner sheet. So then you just pull the foil off and look at that, a beautifully foiled sheet. And the reason I did that, this foil I wanted it all to coordinate and match in colors. So I decided to use this instead of cardstock, but it makes a beautiful foiled sheet for the background. Now this is our piece with the design on it. So as I peel that back, see how that reveals that design. So pretty. I hope you can see the shine on there. It's just beautiful. Now, sometimes I'd take and throw this piece away, but actually let me put some white here. Let me put something underneath this so you can see it. Look how pretty that, we'll call this the negative. This is the piece you would normally toss away, but they're so pretty in themselves that I thought, okay, there's a way to use these, so we're going to do it. All right, so after we've foiled, we've got our positive, our negative, and then we have our foiled piece for the back arch there, which I'm gonna just set aside because sometimes that reflection is a little bright for the camera, so it's almost hard to see that that's foiled when it's laying flat. But okay, so we've got our foiling done, our Mink is off, and now we're going to take this piece, and actually I'm going to just rub it gently with a cloth. If you burnish it, sometimes when there's fine little details in your patterns, if you just take a cloth and kind of rub it gently, it will remove any excess foil from your design, and it will leave you with a nice, crisp, beautiful print there. So, okay, so we've got that piece, and then I'm going to blend a square piece, and I'll explain that in a bit. This panel, when you use the negative of the foil sheet, this panel actually has not only this back arch blended, there's a small one here behind this foil, and I'll explain why we did that when we get to cutting it out. So I have pre-cut an arch. So this is the large arch that will fit behind this one. This is going to fill right in behind that small arch, and then this blending is going to be on the panel like January. So bring in our inks here. The colors I used for these, I used Cookie Monster, Snow Cone, and Blueberry for somebody that loves blues. So we'll bring those in here so you can see them. But if you wanted to, you could do each one differently. You could do 2 months at a time and do different colors. Totally up to you, but I'll show you kind of how I did these using these 3 colors. So I usually start with the bottom, kind of give that a blend, and I work it up into the design so that it doesn't have a distinct line where the colors meet, so you can kind of overblend. And then I'm going to do the same with my piece of paper. And this again will be the arch behind the negative one there. All right, and then lastly, this will be the large arch. And I kind of like it that the large arch, when you blend it already cut out, it gives you that little darkness at the border, which I like. Kind of just frames it all in really nice. So I'm gonna blend that up a little bit. All right. Go down a little bit farther on this one. I think this paper is a little bit larger than I need, but we'll make sure we've got enough coverage on there to make a good die cut. Okay, so there's our Cookie Monster. And then the middle color, kind of running through the center here, is Snow Cone, which is pretty bright. So I'm gonna dab off a little bit of that ink, and we're gonna just kind of come through the middle, overlapping the Cookie Monster just a bit. It's funny, I never used to be a blue person. Look at me, I'm wearing blue. And now I am. It's funny how it's kind of like your taste in food. It's funny how you change as you get older and grow. So I'm going to do the same with each panel here. I like using this size brush. I'm kind of heavy-handed, so I can see where my brush marks are sometimes, but one thing I love about the TE inks are that they're a little bit forgiving. They cover up my heavy hands sometimes, and they blend beautifully once they sit for a little bit. It's funny how that works, but it's a beautiful, beautiful look. Okay, we've got our snow cone. And then the last color here is blueberry. Okay, so the top of this design, they're both blueberry. They're all blended in the same way. And like I say, if blue is not your color, you just pick coordinating colors that you like. I just didn't want to get super dark, that I wanted my foil to show up well, and I thought the blue looked really pretty with that champagne foil. So again, we'll kind of overlap the snow cone. Get that nice and blended. It looks like a beautiful sky. We had quite the snowstorm yesterday. It wasn't even so much snow, but the wind. Oh. But the sky looks like this today, so that is very welcomed. It's so nice, even when it's cold. If the sky is blue, it just makes it feel so much warmer. Okay, so let me show you these a little closer. Let's see how all those coordinate, and there's just a nice blended tone throughout the whole pattern. All right, so easy peasy blending. So we'll set the inks aside. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is this negative piece, we'll call it, that we've blended the background for. So I'm going to take a piece of sticky sheet. And this is a nice, thin, crystal clear sheet. I'm going to put it on my background. And then I'll peel off this top, and this is how I'm going to adhere, can't hardly see it, this to the sticky sheet. So I'm going to kind of set it in the middle here, making sure that I've got enough there. Can you see how pretty that the blue just pops out of that design? So pretty, just love it. There, and then that foil will just stick to that sticky sheet. And the reason we do it this way, now when I die cut this out, the die will kind of seal that edge. So it gives you a look like this that not only looks nice and finished, but it also helps seal those layers together so that nothing will peel apart. It's very secure. Okay. All right, so then we are going to get our die cut machine. All right, let's move this out of the way. Okay, and oh, this is looks like somebody used it before me. Yay, I didn't want to be the first one. We have some new panels on our die cut machine, so they look so clean and beautiful. I hate to mar them up, but I guess that's part of working with the die machine. All right, so it looks like I lost the end of my tape. Here's a piece. I'm gonna tape my small arch die, the Arch Nouveau die, on my panel, just like so, getting it centered up. And we'll run that through. Okay, and that will kind of stick to my top because I have that sticky sheet on there. So let me get something to, probably should have trimmed around it, but I forgot. So let me get that up here if I can. There we go. Just needed to get a corner up. There. Okay, and then when I pop out my die cut, look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's all nice and sealed. See if I can get the angle right for you. There you go. So that piece is ready to go. And then we'll die cut this guy using the small die as well. I can get it unstuck from my sticky sheet there. Okay, and we're going to tape that in place, get that nice and centered up. There's nothing worse than sending a die through the machine and it shifted on you, so I like to really make sure they're secure, especially after blending. I just love these Arch Nouveau patterns. They're just so pretty. Look at that. So pretty. And then our backer piece for the one like January, we're going to use the large die and cut that backing piece out of the foil. And I see I probably had a little piece of dust or something there on my foil, but that is going to be covered up. But that is why you want to make sure you wipe everything before you foil. Just gives you a nice clean look. So I must have missed a little flap, but it's going to be covered up, so I'm not worried. Okay. Whoop, I got a couple extra pieces there. There we go. So we've got our background all cut out. All right, let's set this aside. Okay, so now we've got the positive, the negative, and a backing piece, and this backing piece. So this now has the color behind it, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on that backer. So it looks as though this is all one piece, but this is the best way to seal it and make sure it stays together. Oh, I got some drippy glue. There we go. So that's why we do the 2 layers on that one. it goes really fast once you've started blending. So, okay, let me get that little guy up. Oh, he's stuck to something. Okay, so then that one we're just going to center on that background piece. There we go. Got a little bit of glue on there. I'm going to wipe off. There we go. And that one is ready. And then this guy goes on the back of this champagne foiled background. So who's excited about virtual stamp joy? I bet many of you are. This is my first spring here. I didn't start until June, so I'm very excited to see all the goings on. There's lots of excitement brewing here at TE, let me tell you. All right, so there you can see how the positive works on the solid foiled background and the negative works on a blended background. All right. And where did I set? There it is. So when I did the calendar set, I saved November and December so we could finish off the year. So let's see, January was positive. So we'll do November positive and December, we'll do that with the negative. That way I'll show you every other one. See how every other one is a positive, negative. And you could switch them around. You wouldn't have to use them consecutively, but that's just the way I did it. You can do it however you wish. Different colors, mix them up, use all of them, whatever you want. All right. So then we'll glue these down. I hope my family's not watching because I think I'm making everybody calendars for Christmas next year. They are so fun to make. If you saw the release earlier this week, I'm like, oh, I am just hooked. And they're just so fun because you can make each month different if you want. They could be totally different. And mix them all up. I mean, however you want to do them. But I am such a saver of, my husband would agree, crafty scraps, that this is just a great way to use them. So we've got both of those centered up. And there we go. We've got our whole year done now. All right, so there's the calendar pages. I'll put all these together. And I'm going to just show you, you know, I had them wrapped in this bow. And I'm going to just show you, a lot of people ask, you know, how do you tie a bow? Everybody does it different. I'll just show you my method. So I put my item down, my card pages. I make a knot. And then if you see how one goes up, one goes down, I accentuate that. I pull it tighter. I keep the ribbon that's underneath and head it down, and the top one comes over and around through the ribbon and just like so. And that makes a really nice knot in the center where the ribbons will lay flat. I don't know if you've ever wrapped a package or something and you tie your bow, whether it's in a knot or a bow, and the ends are flipping up or the bow's flipping over. Well, that's a little trick. So there we go. So that little bundle is all ready for gift giving. Okay, so next we will move on to the tag. So let me bring that back in here. The way I did the tag on this one, I just looped it over the handle. I made a loop, but I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so I have foiled the background piece that goes underneath the blended piece, which I did another one just like we did for the calendar pages. So then I've got the signature Hello die, which I just love, and it's such a perfect size for I believe this is the large arch, but let me double check. Yes, it's the large arch. So the large Arch Nouveau die is what I cut out this with, and then the Hello fits right in there. So I'm going to bring back the die cut machine. And the trick with, I got to wipe up my surface there. I forgot to wipe up my blending. So we're going to tape this in place. And the one thing about this, using both the positive and the negative of this, is that you want to make sure you keep all those little pieces inside the letters. I'll show you this again. Like on the L's, the H, the L's, and the little dots on the E and the O, you'll want to make sure you keep those because you want to put those back in when you make the tag. So that's just the one little thing to watch for because they're so tiny. Sometimes you lose them and you have to just cut them again. But if you can keep a hold of them, that is great. So we're going to take off our die here and very carefully. So this is the part that will go on the tag, and the Hello that's die cut. What did I do with my box? Here it is. The part that cut out I'm going to use on the box. So nothing's going to waste today. We are using everything. Whoops. And it looks like my pieces are all still in there, so I'll set this aside. And I'm going to wipe up my surface here first so I don't get that blue ink on anything that I don't want it on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take a die pick and carefully remove all those pieces and make sure that I don't lose any of the tiny ones. Hopefully I will not. It's funny, when you say it out loud, it'll probably happen because isn't that the way things go once you say it out loud? All right, I'll get the Hello out of there carefully. This is such a fine script. I think that's why I like it so well. It's so fine. Look at that, how pretty. Yeah, hello. And all my little pieces are still in there, so I'm gonna just poke those out and keep them handy. So we've got the H, and I try to keep them in order. It just helps when you go to assemble the tag. Then you don't have to wonder, especially the L's and the H. There. Oh, see, that one flew, but I see it. There we go. There's the O. Okay, so we've got that all cut out. We'll set that aside. And, oh, here it is. There is my foiled on toner, my champagne backer. And let's see, what did I do? There it is. Okay, so there is my Hello. And we are going to just glue that right on top of the backer. And I think glue got a little clogged. I'm terrible about putting my lid back on. Do you ever do that? It's a bad habit because then and I think I'm going to have to use a little pick. Or, yeah, I don't think I have a pin handy. Let's see if that did the trick. Oh, squeezed a little too hard. There we go. All right. So try not to get this glue oozing out onto the foil. I want to make sure all these little areas get glued down, however. Okay. I am going to show you another one of my tricks when when I get a glue glob, because sometimes it shows, you know, through paper. And so I'll just take a little scrap and just smooth it. Get it into those areas you want, the little ones. There. And this one, they're the same size. So this one, I just want to align the edges. There. Great. Got just a hair of glue right there. There. Okay. And this is now where we want to glue back in those little teeny weeny cutout pieces. So I am actually gonna do it this way. We'll see how I do. Depends how your dexterity is. Sometimes I like to use the embelly jelly. I'm gonna glue it and then flip it over. I feel a little better with the embelly jelly, putting it down then with my fingers. And you just try to get that in the center, like so. So it fills in that loop of the H. And you do that with every letter. Now this, the dot and the E, I'm gonna put a, excuse me, I got a catch in my throat. I'm gonna put a little glue off to the side, and I'm actually gonna use the tip of my die and put that, grab a wet wipe here so I'm not putting glue on the rag. Just so I have a teeny tiny dot of glue in the middle of the E. And there, we've got the little tiny dot. And then our L's. And I think these L's are, this one's just a little smaller than that one. So, because when I looked at these cutouts, I didn't keep them in order the first time. And it was kind of hard to tell between these three loops what went where. But this is a smaller loop and that one's the largest piece. So that helped me a little bit to know that. I'm going to just put a little line of glue there and here. And we'll add these little pieces in. Got 1 and 2. Scooch that in the middle. Sometimes if I've got a little extra glue too, I will let it dry. And then I'll come in a little excess glue. I'll let it dry and then I'll come in with just the corner of a baby wipe. Just fold it up and just kind of wipe those out. But you don't want to soak your paper. So just a little bit will take care of it. All right. So there we go. We've got hello. And then I just used from our Valentine foil drops. I picked out the gold ones. Here, I'll pour these on my hand. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they are kind of a whitish color with clear, and then these tiny little gold flecks, metallic flecks in there. They're just so pretty. And I thought they went well with the champagne foil that I'm using. So we'll just add a couple of those around the hello for a little extra ta-da there. Just put some dots of glue and use my embelly jelly to place them. So, see, I always have to make sure I'm right side up. And you'll know it because there's a flat side and there's a arched side. And so, of course, the arched side you want to go up. And 1, 2, let's use this guy, and 3. There. So there is the tag. And then just for the hole at the top, I just used a paper punch. Got it kind of centered up like so. Punched a hole, and then it's ready to tie on your gift. So when I did this one, if you just want to loop it over the handle so it can be removed easily, you just put both of the ribbon ends into the hole from the front, pull them to the back so they leave you that nice little ribbon, and then it leaves you a loop for putting it over something. I thought that was kind of fun. So then if somebody wanted to, I don't know, hang it from their car or put it somewhere, it hangs very easily. But if you want to do it where you are going to tie it onto something, then all you have to do is thread your ribbon through and pull it, and then just go ahead and tie it. So whichever method you want to do. But there is the tag. Okay, so next let's work on the box. So let me grab that again. Here we go. So there is our box, and the reason I made a box is because I would love to gift these. I think it's a great, making calendars just is a great idea for a gift. And they're so small and compact and personal, and you can personalize them in colors and designs for people. So I just think they're just so fun to gift. So I made a little box, and the clear box is our A2 clear card boxes. So they come, I believe there is 5. Yes, there's 5 in a package when you get them. And they're so nice if you're making sets of cards for somebody or you want to store yours. They're just such a nice sturdy box. So they come flat, and you just kind of insert your hand and fold the sides, so then it makes a rectangle. And then just like every other box, you push in the little tabs on the side, fold your flap in and insert that. And there you've got one side, and then you've got your other side. So very nice. And then so to make the top panel, and I just did a panel like a card panel. If you wanted to not be able to see through it, you could cut pieces and adhere them to the sides and the back. Totally up to you, but I think, you know, when you buy a gift or cards in a store, you often just see the front embellished. So I thought that worked pretty nicely. Okay, so I just used toffee, and the numbers I used are actually the backers from the Just a Number die set. So they're a little bit larger than the others, and I liked that boldness for this front. So we're going to do the 2 and the 0 and the 6. It comes with one of each number, so we're going to die cut it twice so we get that second 2 in there for 2026. So let me bring back in the die cutting machine. Set that back a little bit. And I'm going to get these arranged here. The way I do it is I start with the 6 in the corner. I get it straight, and I leave approximately a 1/4 inch on each side. And that gives me a good start to get everything else aligned. So if I look where that is, I will place the 2 right next to it, about a 1/4 inch away, with the same amount of space at the bottom. And then we'll do that with the 0 up above the 6, kind of centering it like so. I'm going to pick it up and look here and see if I think this 2 is just a tad high. So let's get that in place a little better. So there. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. This might go up just a hair too. Make sure that looks straight. Okay, I think that's good. So we will die cut this. Oops, I saw that 2 move. There we go. All right, send that through, and that gives us the beginning of our numbers. And then we'll come back, we'll remove the 0. Again, I'm going to save these center pieces from the 0 and the 6 and replace those when I put that backer behind it. So I'm going to hold on to those 2 little ovals, pop out my 6. Okay, and then get my 2 out of there. maybe. We'll see here. There we go. Another thing I love about the TE cardstock is it's so strong that when you pull things out of the die, I'm always so afraid I'm going to rip something, but I tell you, it's just really nice cardstock. Okay, so there I've got my second 2 in place, and we'll run that through. And that will give us our 2026. There we go. Looks kind of fun like that, even looks kind of like a modern numbers. All right, we'll set this in the back and pop out this other 2 from my die. And you know me, I would probably put these in a little baggie with my die and keep these, because you just never know if you're going to make a birthday card or something for someone. You might use these. You know what? I'm going to just do that later because we don't need those right now. All right, so we've got that all cut out and ready. As I said earlier, I pre-foiled a piece of toner paper to go behind those numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and see, that'll just fit there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on here, and we want to put it on here rather than the foil, so we make sure that we don't get glue all over that foil. We just want to go around it and make sure, whoops, kind of went through the middle there. Make sure this sticks. That little tab, this little tab. Okay. And then we're going to lay that on top of here. And before I press it down, I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to flop that a little bit. Make sure that the foil is behind each number so I don't get it off kilter and then get glue where I don't want it. Okay. So far so good. And then we're going to add back in that center of the 0 and the 6. So I'm going to use my embelly jelly again so I get it aligned the way I want it. There is the 0 and the 6. There you go. So you just replace those. It gives it a really neat look with that champagne behind the toffee. And the finishing touches, I had pre-made another panel just like we did for the calendar. So we're going to glue that to the left of the numbers, kind of align it at the bottom like so. And we are going to rescue our little tiny thin hello that we cut out for the tag and put just a little bit of glue on here. Sometimes when they're really fine like this, I'll do just tiny dots rather than trying to run a thread of glue. It just seems to be a little easier. Okay, and then that goes right on top of this. I overlap that arch just a little bit. So there we have our cover for our box. And then to adhere it to the plastic box, I just used a sticky sheet. I found that I just peeled off a sticky sheet and put that on the back. I found that really seems to hold really well because not everything wants to stick to this plastic, but the sticky sheet for me worked great. So that's what I used. So that is how you do that. So we have made them all. I just wanted to show you one quick thing. The stand for the calendars, the desk stand, does fit in the box, but I would probably, personally, I would probably wrap it in tissue separately. You could wrap this in tissue if you didn't want people to see what's inside your box. But I'm going to just show you. This fits in here like so. If you put the base in here, put it on the part where the numbers of the calendar are, because it's thicker up here where you've embellished it. But I just want to show you, it does bow the box ever so slightly. So if that doesn't bother you, you can go ahead and package it that way. It's just a very little bit, but if you were mailing it, that might be helpful. But I always think it's fun when you get a package and it's got more than one little thing in the tissue to look at. It just makes it a little more special. So anyway, you can do it either way you'd like. So I'll bring those back in and you can see all the finished items. Well, we've got that inside, and here is our tag. So, all right, so we had fun making calendars today. I hope you did, but first, before I go, I'm going to spill a little tea. Are you ready? Here, I'll move those out of the way so they're not distracting. Okay, here we go. I am going to spill the tea. Okay, here we go. Ready? These are so pretty and so fun. Here we go. Oh, I love them. Can you see them? Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. I had so much fun. I hope you did too, and enjoy the rest of your day.